do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you.
Okay. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and let me present to others Mr. Neely Fuller, Jr. And Mr. Fuller, good morning, and how are you on this 12/20/2022 today?
Good morning. I'm still learning.
Okay. This is a segment that we have, and a lot of people seem to like it. It's called the Thoughts and Expressions on the Mind of Mr. Neely Fuller, Jr. Mr. Fuller, what is on your mind this morning?
That everybody should have a plan. In particularly, why not? Let's pick this time to start planning out. Make a 5-year plan or a 1-year plan or a 2-month plan about what are you going to be doing the next 2 months that you think needs to be done, and start figuring out how you think it's best to go about doing it. In other words, start making a code rather than just blundering through each and every day and just waiting on somebody else to give you some signal about what your life is supposed to be. Codification is about some type of order, some type of consistency, some type of what we loosely call progress. And if you have offspring, tell them, think about making a plan and sticking with it. I mean, this is every breath that you take. That's a day gone by, a week gone by, a moment gone by. You're born into the world with two things, time and energy. And start looking back. That's an excellent place to start. And look at all the mistakes you've made. Because we all make mistakes, and we're going to make more of them in the future. But you minimize your mistakes. And you learn from each mistake that you make. That's in every area of activity. Economics, meaning how you spend your time and energy, how you spend your money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But basically how you spend your time and how you spend your energy. That's basic economics according to the code. And then education. Start concentrating on learning something that's going to be strictly constructive. Ask yourself, whatever it is that you're trying to learn, how it can be used to do something constructive that'll work for you. Think about that all the time. I mean, really be serious about it. And just don't say that you're here and so going about doing anything any kind of old way. I mean, that's what you see people doing around you. And so that's the popular thing to do. Go here, go there, buy this, buy that. Stop that. Say you're going to stop it to yourself right now. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody else. Prove some things to yourself. And get your offspring, if you're old enough to have them, to think that way. What's your plan? Somebody's planning on killing somebody, sometime for Christmas Day because of something that they heard that they said. Get out of that frame of mind. What makes that person that important? Stop and think about it. Just go somewhere and think about it all day. What makes that person more important? What was that person doing 20 years ago? And where were you? You weren't even around the person if you've been around that long. You're 18 years old. Where was that person 18 years ago? And say, well, that person is 1 year older than me. So that person's just running around playing with toys, and you didn't even know the person. Now you want to go out there and kill them on account of you heard they said something about you or did something about you, and everybody cracked up. I mean, because they thought it was funny. So you got to get even. I mean, little nonsense like that. Don't let somebody else just jerk your life around like that. I'm speaking directly now. Because millions of people do it, among black people particularly. Get all excited and worked up about nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, people are just people. They're not even people who are well known. Some of them learn early in life that Shakespearean saying, much ado about nothing, because that's what it is. A lot of things are going to happen here on Christmas Day, or Christmas night, or Christmas Eve particularly. Some people are going to hurt somebody, or you're going to do something to hurt yourself. And when you look back on it, next year at this time, you will not have corrected that mistake. You'll do the same thing again, simply because it's a so-called, quote-unquote, holy day. Just some thoughts that I was having. Think about it. Plan. That's what you do. It's not just a matter of what you don't do. It's what you do and what you plan to do. Usually when you have a plan and you're serious about it, you don't let anybody get in the way of that plan. Or you don't get in your own way because you don't have one. You wait for somebody to make a plan for you. And that's what black people are used to. Get used to making plans for ourselves. And that plan becomes a code, if there's any plan at all that's worth having. And stick with it. It'll clean up your entire existence. You feel better about a lot of things, and you'll do better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, plan. Mr. Fuller, before we get into this show completely, on that plan, could you relate that plan to the 4 once?
Yes. Oh, yes. Your plan always is based on what you want. So you just sit down now, or even before Christmas, and say, what do you really want? And what will you want for the next 5 years or for the next year? Just lay it out. Or if you can't think that far ahead and all like that, then think a week ahead. What's your plan for the week? Most of us just kind of blunder through things, get up, go here, go there, wait for somebody to tell us what to do, what's valuable, turn on television and try to find out what somebody else is doing so you copy that, and without even thinking about whether or not it fits you. Learn to reject things that don't make sense.
Okay.
Black people are just so anxious about everything that we jump right on anybody's bandwagon that happens to be coming down the street.
Okay.